Hello there and welcome back to another edition of Silly Car Showdown. Today, we are taking a look at the Nissan Silvia S14 Aero. This car was requested by your favourite drunk Scottishman, Visible AK, and yeah, it is another S chassis car. We've of course had the 240SX relatively recently, so now we're taking a look at the slightly newer S14. Not one of my favourites. I've got to be honest, I really am not a fan of the S14. I do have to admit the sort of facelifted model, this Aero kit, the 98 model, as compared to the 94 model, is better looking, but I'm still not a fan of this car. Still, we can change it up because this car does have a wide body kit, which gives it sort of the weird muscle car face, which I really do quite like. I'm not so much a fan of removing the rear bumper, but I do quite like the face. As far as engine swaps goes, we've actually got quite a few options. 3.2 litre inline 6, 6.2 litre V8, the twin-turbo engine from a Skyline, the Turbo Rally, and the 4-rotor. The 4-rotor we used in the 240SX, so that's out. Turbo Rally's in everything. Skyline engine doesn't make all that much power, so I'm thinking of embracing this car's sort of new muscle car face with the 6.2 litre V8, and we will supercharge it, because why not? Right, as far as wings go, there's a lot of options for wings. I'm assuming only one of them is actually going to fit the body. Interestingly enough, the sort of on-brand spoiler does not provide any aerodynamic benefits, which is unusual, as most of them do. With the wide body kit, of course, we are going to get bigger tyre sizes, 295s at the front and 325s at the rear, which is pretty good. Can't really complain about that. PI seems to be building relatively okay with this. I'm not expecting this to be much above the top of S1. We're probably going to hit sort of that standard S170, 870, I'd imagine, because I don't think power's going to put too much PI into this, but you never know. I have been surprised before. Roll cage we are definitely going to want, because this is an older vehicle, S1 870 with the weight reduction, and now time to start building that V8 engine, see what we can do. Yeah, PI seems to be climbing steadily. Again, it might get out. Ooh, it might actually get into S2, which I'd be pretty surprised at, because not a lot of these type of cars really do. Supercharger, yes, it's just going to get into S2. Never mind, it's going to go to S1 900 with that. Do you know what? I don't want the oil and cooling because I don't really see the point. Intercooler. Well, we get 1,000 horsepower with it, so sod it, I'm leaving that in. S1 900, 1,006 horsepower, 834 foot-pound torque, 2,655 pounds of weight, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, top speed 192. Again, like the NSX, I am thinking that might be gear limited. I must also confess, I'm doing these a little bit differently to the way I usually do them. I usually build the car, drive it, build the car, drive it, build the car, drive it. Today I'm building all the cars in one big lump sum, so I've got no idea how the previous cars have done. So there's something for you. Anyways, yeah. There is the Silvia V8. Should be an interesting car. Again, the PI is surprising. The question is, will its actual, in real life performance be interesting? Let's find out. So, here we are, ready with our Nissan Silvia S14 muscle car, ready to set 5 laps of our track to see what time it can set. Our current leader is the Ferrari FXXK, that's at a time of 134.196, I believe, which this car is unlikely to beat. More likely is somewhere around, well, my aim is to get it around where the Nissan 240SX ended up, which was a 147.476. Again, that car was running less power than this one. That was actually running the 4-rotor Nissan engine. This, of course, running a 6.2 litre V8 Australian LS. So, be interesting to see sort of what this car can do compared to that one, and we will keep our eye out with that. Yeah, not really sure what to expect handling wise from this, but we shall see. The tyres are nice and big. It does not feel anywhere near as... It feels quite slow, actually, I've got to be honest, although that's because I did drive the NSX last time. and the NSX was, well, probably one of the quickest straight line speed cars we've ever had. You know, the only thing that really can match the NSX is stuff like the Ford Double Down, which was truly mental. This, not quite as mental as that, obviously. Feels alright, feels kind of heavy though, which is a weird thing. I was not expecting this car to be heavy. Granted, you know, the 6.2 litre V8 is not a light engine, but this car in general should be fairly light. I can't quite remember the weight statistic off the top of my head, but it's under £3,000 from what I remember. So it should feel a bit lighter than it does now, but alas, there you go. First lap doesn't really matter, so we're not going to count that for anything. I think I was too busy trying to read the leaderboard for sort of this first section. Again, another car which is not four-wheel drive. In fact, I don't... Oh, we have one four-wheel drive car in sort of today's bulk, and that's it. So I can't mention any names because I need to try and remember that I now record the builds before I record the actual cars going around the track. So yeah, I know what's four-wheel drive, but you don't know what's four-wheel drive. It's a weird concept. I'm sure we'll get used to it eventually. Okay. We're okay through there, I guess. Yeah, it does feel like a pretty good handling car, actually, in all honesty. Grippy enough, certainly. Again, you can definitely feel some heft in it, but that might not necessarily be a bad thing. Sometimes heftiness can mean stability. Again, the NSX might have been a better car if it weighed a little bit more than it did, so yeah. Maybe it's a positive sign for the S14 as it bounces off of a jittered wall. That's not maybe quite so good, but there you go. Right. I also like the fact that this car apparently does not have a rear number plate now that it's got the Boss wide body kit on it. I believe this car, the 240SX, which has a similar predicament, that actually does still keep a plate mount. Apparently this one does not, so there you go. Ooh, this is going to be quite a quick time actually. A 1:47.609, and that was with a wall bump as well, so yeah, okay. The V8, the muscle car Silvia, is apparently not that bad, as it turns out. It's a pleasant surprise, actually, to be honest with you. Again, it's once you're sort of used to it, again, I don't know if it's just the NSX spoiled me, to be honest with you. Maybe I shouldn't have driven it out first today, but yeah, it's sort of, actually, the more I drive it, the more I kind of like it, which is weird, because it's a Silvia S14, it's a car I'm not supposed to like. I'm kind of enjoying this. Then again, I mean, the 240SX is a pretty good driving car. I don't think I've ever driven an S14 stock. Ever. To my knowledge, Horizon 3, I did have one of these, but it was a four-rotor with all-wheel drive. And I don't think I've ever done an S14 for Top Gear laps. In fact, I don't think I've ever done a Silvia, really, outside of the 240SX. There you go, fun fact for you. I've done an S15 a few times, actually, I think. But I'm sure that'll change eventually. But we will have to see. Also, this car spits a lot of flames, I'm realising, from an incredibly tiny exhaust. Which is minorly amusing, it has to be said. Going around here, ooh, a little bit of sideways. Ooh, we are going to get a very quick time. 1:45.840. Oh, it's definitely quicker than the 240. That's to be said. That actually puts it a fair way up the leaderboard. Yeah, well done, little Silvia S14. Yeah, pretty grippy. Again, this car does have rather big tyres from what I remember, so that's probably a big part of the appeal on this one, but yeah, it's remarkably good, it has to be said. remarkably. A little bit of an issue going into there. I don't know if it'll go any quicker than 1:45.840, it has to be said. Because that third lap was pretty good. But yeah, I mean, it certainly is pretty good. I mean, I can't say much more than that. It is, yeah, good. I mean, alright, compared to the PI, admittedly, this being an S1 class, well, technically an S2, but, you know, a tippity top of S1 class car, there has been quicker. Stuff like the Quartz Regalia was S1, and I believe there was actually cars quicker than that as well. That sort of S1 class vehicles. I'm trying to look at the leaderboard at the moment out of the corner of my eye. I can't remember if the 22B was or not. But, yeah, I mean, the Quartz Regalia was, of course, very... Well, that was an S1 870, and that was a very quick car, so... Yeah, hold on, I've got an itchy bleeding nose. I always get an itchy nose while I'm recording. I never get it anywhere else, just while recording. It's amazing to me. Alright, final lap. Push hard, push now, push forever. Whee! That was more of a bounce than I wanted to take off that, but it seems to have corrected itself. Yeah, maybe overcooked that slightly too much. Again, all-wheel drive would be preferable here, but there you go, can't have everything. Low on the speed, there we go. A little bit of a slide coming out of there. Yeah, I mean, it does want to go sideways quite a bit, but it's not too bad about it. I mean, again, because it feels like it has a little bit more weight, and because of the tyres as well, which help, the rear end doesn't actually get away from it that much. Straight line speed, not this car's biggest point, it has to be said. In fact, it's pretty weak on its straight line speed, which is surprising considering it has 1,000 horsepower. You'd expect straight line speed to be sort of something it has over handling more, but apparently not so much. Which is interesting. Try and get stopped for here. Brakes are a little bit vague, it has to be said, but there'll never be a car with good enough brakes for me, because I'm stupid and outbrake myself all the time. Right. As we rush up to City Hall, try not to clip that. Ooh. Couple of issues coming into here, but car almost starting to... Yeah, it's not going to go any quicker. I think that lap time might have been a little bit of a fluke, it has to be said, but, you know, a fluke is sometimes all a car needs. A 1:45.840 for the Nissan Silvia muscle car. Yeah. That is a pretty nice car to drive, actually, in all honesty. I do feel, as much as I said it's sort of a fluky time, it really might have been able to get quicker. It certainly feels consistent enough to, it's just unfortunately I'm not quite consistent enough to do so with it. But yeah, I mean, that is a lot better than we expected it to be, in all honesty. A lot better, because again, I was sort of expecting 240SX-ish times, maybe a little bit quicker. But no, it shattered those expectations by about a second and a half, so well done, Silvia. Anyways, the Nissan Silvia muscle car will go into 22nd place with a 1:45.840. Beats out the superb Impreza Hawkeye, beats out the Ford GT40 EcoBoost, the Nismo GTR LM as well. A bunch of really good cars they actually ended up beating out. It does lose out to the new BMW Z4, the lovely Quartz Regalia, and the wonderful Subaru 22B. But yeah, I think the car has served its purpose and served it quite well. So congratulations, Nissan Silvia S14, a car which I was not expecting to like. Actually turns out to be a car which isn't too bad at all. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching this edition of Silly Car Showdown. I do hope you've enjoyed. As always, if you'd like to request cars for this series, you can do so in a couple of ways. One way is in my Discord, link in the description below. Join that, post your cars in the request chat, keeps them all nice and catalogued for me. You don't have to do that, but I would appreciate if you did, and I can give you actually live updates when your car's gone round, so you know when you can request more. However, you can also request them in the comment section if that's something you'd prefer. Other than that, yeah, not much else to say. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, farewell.